Dude, chat. Phantom sense or phantom touch or phantom pain or whatever you want to call it or so. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of a little bit ridiculous. I've played the game for so many hours and I have yet to develop a phantom sense or phantom touch. So I'm so curious. So Royalty's here made a video, but the problem is like, if I remember correctly, I think he also uploaded a video on that one VTuber, and I don't think that video ever came back up online. No, it actually didn't. Remember, chat, remember, we watched a video. We watched a video for him. Personally, I think he makes really good commentary videos and like essay videos in my personal opinion. Sounds like a skill issue. No, actually, the funny thing about it, the person was actually like mass reporting it. So the funny thing about it, where's the video at? It was like a month ago. He did reply to it too as well, which is right here. This is the video that we saw, and I didn't know anything about this VTuber. Never heard of them at all and whatnot. So that's the craziest thing about it. And it was very interesting to hear this, you know, this freaking you know, this freaking VTuber. So apparently he did thank me or so for posting the video because, you know, spreading the awareness of this VTuber is pretty important in my personal opinion. But apparently, unfortunately, Royalty cannot get that video back up and loaded, but that's a-okay. We do have actual, you know, a response to it, and they can't really take it down in my personal opinion. It kind of sucks that his video is gone, but at least for people who want to know about it, you can take a look at it there. But you know, we'll support this guy. He makes really good video. Now, do I agree with everything? No, not everything, as in like, you know, the whole VR chat, the earlier videos of his VR chat thing. But you know, there are some things I'll you know, play devil's advocate against, you know, but I can still respect the guy, you know. We can still agree. We can agree to disagree on certain situations, and I don't mind. I have no problem whatsoever. But I'm so curious what this phantom sense problem is.
Phantom sense is a psychological phenomenon where users in virtual reality perceive physical sensations.
Oh, it's always the furries, man. It's always the furries every single time, man. It's just how it begins every single time, chat. I'd be curious to see where was the origin and where did this phantom touch, phantom sense started. I am so curious. I am very, very, very curious.
From the virtual actions and stimuli, even without physical contact.
Jay, I don't think anyone is here.
Oh wait, so if I just like do this, do you feel
Hold on, don't touch me.
Alright, jump him! Boom, 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 boom! Now, the phantom pain I'd rather not have, but I can't control that. Sometimes phantom smell is really bad, depending on the...
Phantom smell? What do you mean phantom smell? You got someone farting in your face or something when someone farts on you?
If someone's wearing a zombie avatar, the smell is unpleasant.
Water has severe phantom sense, so please try to not walk through her, or you will be removed from this instance.
Jesus.
Welcome back to the psychiatric ward of the internet that is VR chat. Yes, it's been a few...
Whoa! You got an upgrade on your model? Yo! Wow! You know what? It fits pretty well, actually, to be honest. I like it. Very good. That's very good, actually.
Months since my last VR chat video, and it's time for a quarterly colonoscopy and radiation exposure to this community once again. With me, a person with 3,000 hours of experience in the virtual...
Jesus, you got 3.6k hours of playing this game? I think I only have like 2.5 question mark? It might be a little bit more. Let me see. Hold on. I'll give you the numbers. Hold on. Where's VR chat? Where are you at? Okay, hold on. Wait. VR chat. There you are. Yeah, 2.5. I have 2.5k hours in VR chat. It would have been, I probably would have outbeaten him, but I stopped playing for a while.
dystopian landscape that is VR chat, and once again my only excuse being most of those hours were from COVID, and that is really my only excuse. However, VR chat I feel like this year especially has been once again pushed into the limelight of the internet. Mainly for the wrong reasons.
Hey, I just want you to know, you probably don't want to talk to us. Like, we're really weird, and we're probably gonna, like, groom you or something.
Right. We're gonna groom you or something? That's a crazy thing to hear that, I'll be honest with you.
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Yes, VR chat has been pushed to the forefront of the internet multiple times, and each time it only shows the most unemployed, mentally deranged, disturbing, and just all-around cringe individuals. Like seeing some of these clips where people either over-explain about their problems to strangers in a public lobby, when a normal person would need to be waterboarded with sulfuric acid to get anything on the same level out of them.
I like pet.
Yeah, same, man. I'm thankful.
I'm not even joking. Like, I'm dead ass.
Yes.
Oh my. I see. This is the conversation that we're going to be having today.
Same.
Why do you like pet?
Because trauma.
Oh.
It's a trauma thing.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
Are you one yourself?
Me? No, I just like them.
Or they just
Oh my goodness gracious. What am I hearing? I'd be like, say psych right now. You better say psych. You're trolling, dude. There's no way. Dude, there is no way that is actually real. There's just, well, I say that, but we live in the year of 2025 where literally like kids are playing Subway Surfer in real life. And then you got Mr. Hassan tasing his dog like he's from Mortal Kombat, doing a fatality. And yeah, you know, the rest is history, so.
take the game way too seriously, to the point where if you impact their immersion in any way, they will threaten you, most times through the virtual world.
I will put your ass 6 feet under! Oh my god, I will pull out an avatar and I will shoot you with a revolver!
I honestly can't tell if these individuals are worse or on par with a community like Has-Been Hotel. Like, if this doesn't give you second-hand embarrassment, have your
It's usually the furry community. This is why I always stay away from the furry community. That community in that world, in this VR chat world, is so unhinged. They're mentally unhinged people. Granted, of course, there are some who are using anime models that are also unhinged, but a good majority of them are from this community, so.
Those crinkling or somewhat produce a grimacing appearance on your face, then either you are one of these individuals, or you've gone through copious amounts of exposure therapy, or you're getting a slight ego boost knowing that individuals out there like this exist, and you don't look that bad with 1,000+ hours in Factorio, and a LinkedIn profile that looks as derelict as the Payday 3 servers. In that case, fair play, you little narcissist. But as said in most of my previous videos, these people have a relatively low spawn rate on VR chat. They probably make up, I estimate, less than 10% of the whole population of the game. The majority of the population nowadays is either kids on Quest, alcoholics and recreational drug users.
True. He's not wrong.
People that stare at themselves in the mirror but physically recoil when they do the same thing outside of the headset, e-couples, and people that get on to socialize and chill after work or school.
I usually get on, sometimes I'll do the mirror thing from time to time, and then sometimes I'll just chill and socialize with some people that I haven't talked to in a hot while, you know? I'm still waiting for my goddamn ceiling to be finished so we can do some fun VR chat stuff, but you know, that's just me.
Most of those people don't actually go into public worlds anymore, and are mostly found in private worlds with their own friends groups. Mainly because going into public worlds in the hopes of socializing and making friends would be as useful as attempting to communicate with a server full of the blind and deaf, because most publics are filled with screaming kids.
I'm playing on a fucking laptop? Do you think I'm playing on a standalone Quest? No, I'm a fucking Valve Apex! I work my fucking ass off!
But once again, these
Right. I worked my ass off to get a Valve index. Totally. Totally. It is not a valid crash out. That is a kid trying to say that his mommy and daddy didn't bought him a Valve index, okay? That is not a valid crash out. No, it's not. It is not. That is a kid. A kid does not have enough money to spend for a Valve index, okay? All right? That's not a thing that happens.
interactions you see on certain platforms are quite rare, but there is one trend or similarity, if you will, with these interactions. As with most of these interactions, you commonly see a specific topic referenced. A topic that within VR chat itself could be considered a taboo, and said topic has also exploded in popularity recently and is now regularly talked about on VR chat, and almost always induces the same reaction by those in close proximity. And that topic is also the subject of today's video, and that is Phantom Sense.
No, I have Phantom Sense. I don't mind if people grab my tail and touch me and stuff. It's just when people run through me.
Now first, what is Phantom Sense? Well, if we look up the definition, it says, Phantom Sense is the perception of physical sensations such as touch, temperature, or movement that are not being caused by external stimuli but by the brain's own processing.
I'm so curious, like, when did they started changing from Phantom Touch to Phantom Sense? When did this turn into? Was it like back in like 2 years ago or something? I'm so curious when the definition changed.
So basically, you feel things that are not actually happening. A lot of the time this applies to people like amputees, because their brain still thinks there's a limb there when there isn't.
Yeah.
There was a Dr. House episode on it where he basically kidnapped a guy, and no, it was nothing to do with lupus. However, when applied to virtual reality, it refers to physically feeling stimuli presented through the headset, like maybe physically feeling an object on your hands or the sensation of something touching you in the game, like one of your big furry friends coming to give you a hug and you can feel every knot in his fur touching you. Or as many of you will want after hearing me say that, the cold metal barrel of a 12-gauge shotgun reaching the back of your throat. Phantom Sense is a very common subject discussed in VR chat, and it's only got more common as the years have gone by and the game has gotten more and more popular. Yeah, the game is still not dying, by the way. The flood-like infection is getting worse, and this isn't even showing the amount of people on the Quest platform. But once again, as the game has grown, so has the talk of Phantom Sense and its many subgenres, which we'll talk about later. But for context, when I started playing the game, if someone said they had Phantom Sense, not only was it very rare, but it would normally lead to one of two reactions. Someone genuinely confused and unable to understand the concept, or they respond by asking if you are the average Rust door camper and are completely void of intelligence because nobody really ever believed it back then.
True.
And if they did, well done, you have just painted yourself as a target for the whole lobby and people are going to start physically assaulting you pretty soon.
Very true. This is very, very, very true. I'll be honest with you. This is actually very true. This was a thing or so back in the day. When you say you have Phantom Touch or Phantom Sense or whatever the fuck you want to call it now these days, they would literally straight up, honestly, like, everybody in the lobby, or at least the friend group or so that I would hang out with, would start messing with them because of that. So it was, I can vouch for this part.
And I'm pretty sure they would have selected a nice curb for you to set your molars and canines on. Back in the day, there was even videos to guide you on how to develop Phantom Sense within the game, and what the fuck is that thumbnail? But the idea of Phantom Sense has always been somewhat pretty cool to me. If the person telling me they have it isn't lying about it or taking it way too seriously. Like, if you think about it, it is a deeper level of immersion in the game that can't really be simulated. Yes, you have things like haptic suits which can vibrate when someone else touches you, who also in the early days would also get jumped in public lobbies as soon
really
as
nice.
people
I like the
heard
model.
you had it. And then you have people that sync certain toys to games like Dark Souls, so every time they get hit, their asshole turns into a maraca, which is
Really? That's a thing that you can do with Dark Souls? That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to hear that. I've never do anything about that.
Is obviously for immersion purposes.
Right.
However, as said before, as the years have gone by,
right.
with more and more people coming to VR chat, and
See,
especially
this is the reason why you do not want to miss my streams, because this is what happens. You come back and you say, what did I come back to? Well, that's your fault for missing it, so I ain't repeating it.
in recent years, Phantom Sense has become more of a popular topic and a lot more people believe in it now.
I don't.
But can you actually
don't
feel
believe it.
things occurring in a video game
No.
with the assistance of a VR headset?
Nope.
Or are these people that sometimes, for some reason, that go out of their way to make sure you know they have it and make it their whole personality, and
could
get
be.
surprised and complain when people decide to test it, even though there are safety settings like personal space to prevent it, simply just lying about the whole thing. Because even I, who thought it's a cool concept, in the past have been skeptical of its existence. I used to think that if you could feel things in VR, your brain was built like your average BMW driver riding your ass in a 20-mile-per-hour school zone. So, built incorrectly. Well, despite the reputation of this topic and the reputation of VR chat players in general, but this subject and quite possibly phenomenon is not that hard to believe in general. Even to this day, you have people that simply just get motion sickness just from looking at
Leave him alone, bro is grinding Sonic Crossworld.
first-person shooters, because the perspective messes with their brain, sometimes making them physically ill. So if just the perspective of a first-person shooter is enough to confuse some people's brains, what would actually seeing through the eyes and controlling an avatar do to that tiny brain of yours? But going back to that question, is it real? Well, yes, Phantom Sense is real. If you want to be a nerd about it, there are published academic studies that go into Phantom Sense, or Phantom Touch as they call it, in the virtual world. In this paper, they referenced other papers and studies that went into the same subject, and they believe it is a thing that exists.
Our studies investigate the PTS made users experience in commercially available VR applications. We identify how users start to feel PTS, Phantom Touch Sense, I assume, yeah. And reveal users' evaluations of their Phantom Touch Sense experience as shown in Figure 1. In this section, we will further discuss our findings. Like I never said, like I personally, I've heard of Phantom Tail, but it had nothing to do with VR. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, like I have no problem that literally, you know, that it exists or doesn't exist or whatnot. It's just really funny to hear it, and then people would just mess with them or so when they have it, so.
Specifically, they mentioned feeling heat, pressure, and touch.
I don't know about the
their main
heat.
evidence was using qualitative data regarding people sharing their experiences, and they were also able to find a trend amongst them. But can you develop Phantom Sense naturally?
No.
Well, this part is a hit or miss. People either feel it as soon as they jump in VR for the first time, or it slowly develops the more they interact with virtual reality. And some can only experience it when either intoxicated or using substances. All of this is...
Well, if you're using, like, third-party stuff or so to get Phantom Sense, then that just proves that you cannot get Phantom Sense unless you're under the influence of a certain item. So that's a third party coming in to give you Phantom Sense. So technically, the answer is no.
Also mentioned in the aforementioned paper. But a better question is, can you intentionally train your brain to feel a probably 6-foot fairy Five Nights at Freddy's character with a bus size bigger than the Hiroshima mushroom cloud, because of course that's in VR chat, and of course it's popular, interacting with you in the virtual world? Or in better words, can you train yourself to have Phantom Sense? Well, referring back to that published paper, they say there are certain strategies to develop Phantom Sense, like gaslighting yourself into believing you have it, using avatars that closely resemble yourself and your own physique, or in general just being relaxed. Some ranged from just feeling a tingle to full-on feeling hands and or pressure on their limbs when touched, and it's believed to occur due to the brain being tricked into thinking the virtual environment is real, or it's trying to predict the sensations that aren't actually there. So in conclusion, in some capacity, it does exist. If you do
To a
want to believe
degree.
the amount of academic papers published on it, and the one person in a public lobby that has it in their bio and is actively advertising it to everyone in the lobby. But from a previous veteran of this game doing multiple talks,
I only know Phantom Pain. It makes my snake solid. Okay, buddy.
have I ever felt it? No, this isn't the part in the video like all my others where I say, oh, I've actually experienced this myself. It's not so bad as people make it out to be. No. I only felt it once when I first started playing the game, only on my nose, and it was like a little tickle. And that was when people were full on poking me in the face, and that is it. The more I played, the quickly it went away, where to this day I have never experienced that sensation again. That's quite literally it. No 5-minute segment about my experience, and I don't care that much to Pavlov myself into feeling it again.
Yeah.
Now you would think that's all there really is to talk about Phantom Sense.
Well, I'd be surprised. But for me personally, I've never had Phantom Sense. Never had Phantom Sense, never Phantom Touch, Phantom Pain, Phantom Heat, Phantom Cold, Phantom I smell your farts or something or whatever. I have none of that. None of that stuff. None of that stuff ever, never even existed towards me. I think the people that I dated in VR chat, I think maybe 2 question mark might have had Phantom Touch, but I think that's pretty much the limit. It's just Phantom Touch.
It's an experience some people get from the start of their terrible journey in VR chat. Some can develop it over time, and some even brute force it on themselves. And some make it their entire personality. That's it. That's not it, because it gets much, much worse from here on. Because Phantom Sense is just the surface level. There are many subgenres and variations that get more and more extreme whilst also becoming harder to believe. With the probably most infamous to the point where you can't escape it being Phantom Pain.
I have Phantom Sense. I'm gonna Phantom come.
Now this is where it sort of gets more ridiculous, and probably why Phantom Sense and maybe VR chat players in general recently have gotten such a bad rep. First we have potentially the most believable, Phantom Pain. Yeah, I'm gonna stop using that bit now. But Phantom Pain is basically like Phantom Sense, but instead of just feeling the pressure of some of the actions occurring, you also feel the pain. It's a natural thing outside of VR chat, once again mainly felt by people like amputees, and it's probably the most
I'll be honest with you, Phantom Pain sounds like the most ridiculous thing in my entire life.
Popular version of Phantom Sense right now, and the most joked about, primarily because of some of the reactions of the people that supposedly have it not always being so calm, to say the least.
This! Knock it off!
Why? It's not bothering you.
It is.
How?
It's bothering me a lot.
How so?
Because it's irritating my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking a knife on your eyes. I guess it would, yeah.
Because I have Phantom Pain!
Like, I would understand the reaction if someone is plunging a 6-inch blade into your urethra and you can feel every bit of pain, but once again, there is a personal space setting to save you from it, and I wouldn't go into a public lobby without that enabled, and especially would not let anyone know I have it. I actually ran into a person that had it in a public Great Pug World in VR chat, and I was genuinely curious and asked if I punched them in the face, would they feel the pain in their teeth? And if I was to theoretically cut their limbs off in-game, would they feel the pain? They immediately left, by the way. I think it was a good question. Shame on them for not answering it. I wasn't gonna...
True. Royalty, you are correct 100%. That's a serious question to ask. What happens if I cut off your arm? Will you actually feel it? Will you start screaming Bloody Mary or so if we do that in the virtual realm or so? Well, like, will you start feeling it? Will you have the Phantom Pain there? Or like, if I kick you in the balls, would you feel me kicking you there or something? Like, we need answers for these. We need answers for every single one of them.
Do anything, but I can see some people possibly in VR chat trying to recreate that one Mr. Robot scene with Tyrell Wellick and the homeless guy as a form of stress relief. And at this point with VR chat, if that did happen, I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, before I get too sidetracked, Phantom Pain is mentioned briefly in the study paper I mentioned earlier. Specifically, they use one comment where someone was elbowed in VR chat by their partner and actually felt it, so this paper at least suggests it is somewhat real. But I like to think Phantom
I just feel like it's not real. I don't know why, dude. Also, is this video also in terrible quality? Well, kind of, actually. The only thing I need to do is turn this on. Jesus, it's so bright in my eyes.
pain is a lot rarer than general phantom sense, and for some reason it's more common in VR chat than ever before now, especially after the many videos mentioning it. And all I'm gonna say is be somewhat skeptical of the people claiming they have it, especially if they
I'm
are...
gonna be honest with you, these people who do claim it are literally just people who do not have a job. The only time you'll ever see me spend a lot of times at VR chat if I literally did all of my work and I have nothing to do. I went on VR chat on desktop mode to go talk to my twin sister because it's been a while since I talked to my twin sister. And the last time I spent in VR chat was basically I literally finished everything. I finished all of my work and I played on Saturday night all the way until morning, and that's about it. But I was there to socialize with like new people, so I socialized with a lot of new people, so, and that's pretty much it. Oh, you can get the answer if you play for 3K plus hours. Well, start doing my work and I'll do 500 more hours of VR chat on stream.
Going out of their way to tell everyone in the lobby for some reason. But another phantom sense is phantom smell, which is being able to smell things within the game. And fucking hell, I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Being able to smell a VR chat lobby would probably be the same as smelling concentrated ammonia, and would probably come along with the deadly effects. This is also an actual thing outside of VR, normally stemming from things like head injuries or sinus infections, but it's not uncommon to experience it without any of this, and most of the time these people smell quite foul things. In VR chat, these people allegedly smell the people around them and their surroundings, and sometimes things that aren't even there. I couldn't find any studies on it, at least in the virtual world, that go into if it is a thing or why it happens. But from a survey from people that apparently do have phantom sense, 17% said they do experience phantom smell.
What?
So do with that what you will. But from said survey, apparently the rarest is phantom taste with 8%.
Oh my god, phantom taste? What is next? Fucking phantom licking or something? Do I look like King to you?
I feel sorry for you if you are able to taste the horrors of this game. And I hope in the future there are more studies going into things like this, and if they are 100% real, once again, it's okay to be skeptical.
Of course.
But probably one that I can say I genuinely doubt, and at least in my opinion, don't believe in, is phantom pregnancy.
Basically, me and him had a child together in VR, and he refused to be the father.
He was the biological father?
Of my phantom child, yes.
Like the others.
Oh man, dude. Oh man. Okay. Alright. I did not know that was an actual thing. I've been out of VR chat for such a long time. I come on every like full moon or so, and that's about it. But holy shit, I did not know that was an actual thing.
Phantom pregnancy is a thing that happens in real life, where a woman can feel the symptoms of pregnancy such as nausea and even swollen abdomens, despite not actually being pregnant with a fetus, and it is considerably rare. On VR chat though, it's
considerably rare, and it's mostly females that have this. That's a guy who was literally saying that. So, Phantom Sixth Sense. That guy doesn't know what that actually feels, you know?
apparently a thing because, I don't know if you know this, people have avatars that can get visually pregnant on VR chat.
Yeah, I know about this.
Oh, the horrors of knowledge. Yeah, some avatars have sliders where you can adjust the size of your stomach and stage of pregnancy. Somewhere out there, someone like Pyrocynical is very happy right now. And through this, people have supposedly started developing the feeling that they are actually pregnant, even if they can't even physically get pregnant. I've even seen some where they complain about kicks in their stomach and even potentially going into labour. In the community, this topic is somewhat ridiculed, with the mentioning of things like phantom abortions or kicking them down virtual stairs so they have a phantom miscarriage. There's no hard evidence for this being a thing, in VR chat at least. If it was a thing, and if I wanted to rationalize this, I would say having an avatar that can visibly be pregnant can maybe trick your brain in some ways, but I don't believe it is a thing, at least in the virtual world.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry, I think it's either a form of roleplay or a symptom of severe unemployment. Next time, wear phantom contraception or something. Also,
It's both, to be honest. It's literally just unemployment behavior. It's just... There are some people who are literally online for way too long for their own good, I'll be honest with you. It's just so bad.
for the people that claim they have phantom sense and all the other subgenres I mentioned, even though they are a desktop user with no headset whatsoever, I've got a nice butt plug made out of sandpaper I could sell you.
Walter. Put your dick away, Walter.
Put your dick away, Walter.
I'm not having sex with you right now, Walter.
So in conclusion, yes, phantom sense in regards to VR chat
Yeah.
is somewhat of a contended topic, and it does have a relatively poor reputation with the countless amount of people claiming they have it, and it coming with a bunch of subgenres that are even more contended, and some outright strange. But if you
It always starts out in the furry community. It really literally starts out in the furry part of VR chat. That's why I usually stay away from it. I don't associate with that much. Hey, Vindicator.
Trust the academic studies and the people claiming they have it, it may be possible to feel interactions in a video game through the lens of a VR headset. The only thing I don't believe is that people can feel a full-on fetus in a video game.
Yes.
That is the only thing out of all of this I don't fully buy. But yeah, that's Phantom Sense in VR chat, another bit of useless information you didn't need in that small crowded head, probably filled with hosts. But I'll probably educate you again on the horrors of this platform in your next colonoscopy in due time.
The horrors of this platform, but man has 3.6k hours in VR chat.
Yeah, that's all I had to say, and bye-bye.
That was a good video. I like that. That was a good video. I love Royalty. He's a funny ass dude. I like this guy. I like his video essay videos on like topics of VR chat. Cause granted, I've been out of VR chat for quite a long time. It's every once in a blue moon I'll come in, log in, and talk to some people. That's kind of like generally the gist of it. And yeah, but that's like super rare when I finish my work, everything on time. Like I feel like a burst of energy, and for some apparent reason I finish everything and I'm just like and then I'm like, oh, I got a day to myself. What am I gonna do, you know? And that's kind of like basically it. But yeah, who knows, maybe one day in the future I'll be able to come back and play some VR chat or stream VR chat. Actually, I would totally love to stream some VR chat from time to time. That's kind of like the gist of it. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Yeah, I used to like I said, I used to do dancing. That was the thing that I used to do in VR chat. I used to do a lot of dancing in VR chat. That was my main thing when I got full body. I just started dancing because I enjoyed it. It was really fun. Good workout too as well, I'll be honest with you. It was a really good workout. And yeah, that was kind of like the gist of it. If you don't go to them, as long as you don't go to them, you'll be fine. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace. Also, you're not supposed to announce that you're streaming in VR chat because they'll literally start saying like the N word and start doing the most horrendous shit or so before you if you try doing that. If you literally announce yourself you're streaming or so in a public lobby, that's probably like the biggest mistake you'll ever do. So yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace.